Hey everyone, welcome back for another installment of Inside the Edition of Lacrosse Magazine. I'm Corey McLaughlin, Deputy Editor of Lacrosse Magazine.
I'm Sean Burns, the online manager of LacroSseMagazine.com.
And we're talking our February issue, big season preview edition. A lot of teams included, a lot of players, projections, rankings, everything you kind of want to know about all levels of lacrosse, big college, small college, men's, women's. And this issue, on the cover, Taylor Cummings from Maryland, first sophomore woman to win the Tewaaraton last year. Everybody kind of knows who she is, and our question on the cover is, what more can she do? In the previews, you'll hear a little bit from Kathy Reese talking about maybe wanting Cummings to, add a little more defense to her game, which is scary considering everything she does in the midfield and on offense.
On the women's side, it's really impressive, Corey, how good Maryland is on paper coming back into the season with Cummings, and how much the other teams really have to catch up. Looking at a Syracuse team that played them in the final last year that lost a lot of talent, although they bring back Kayla Trainer. You look at a North Carolina team that was a favorite going into last year but had some injuries derail that. Are they back in their championship form from a couple of years ago? And then, of course, your Northwesterns and your Floridas, where are they going to fall in the mix, particularly with a couple of new conferences in the Big Ten and Florida moving out of the ALC, which exploded. So a lot of interesting things on the women's lacrosse side to see how things are going to pan out in 2015. So it's interesting to see how those are going to break.
And on the men's side, surprising for maybe a lot of people is Denver and Notre Dame 1-2 in our preseason rankings. I mean, these are teams that have, traditionally throughout the long history of lacrosse not been at the top of the pecking order, but certainly over the last couple of years, they have been right there. And Denver brings a ton back, as does Notre Dame. Both teams were in the Final Four last year, and we have Duke coming in at number 3, the two-time champion, probably there because they just have a lot of pieces to replace.
I mean, I think the biggest question a lot of people are going to have is how can you not have a team that's won 2 straight titles and 3 in the last 5 in as number 1? And it's because if you look at what they lost and what the other teams are bringing back. At this point in the year, it's easier to see a very solid returning Denver team with some great coaching between Coach Tierney and Coach Matt Brown, and same thing with Notre Dame, really, with Matt Cavanaugh coming back, and just a lot of great coaching, great talent. Are they going to be able to, overcome the inevitable Duke surge throughout the course of the year that they've always managed to have in the last few years, where they lose a couple early and then come back, and by the time the ACC tournament's happening, are just world beaters?
I mean, you think of Duke, you think of them probably losing a couple games in February, and then in recent years going to the Final Four like they have for over 7 straight years. So that's all part of our preview edition. In the magazine, there's 32 pages of rankings, scouting reports, behind enemy lines, where we ask kind of other coaches for their takes on these teams to get some real honest answers out of that. We really break down the top players, who has Tewaaraton potential, each team, X factors, best kept secrets. There's really a ton in there. This is one of my favorite issues that we do every year. That's just part of our season preview. A lot of it is online, as well as you'll see rolling out in January and February.
Yeah, basically, because of the natures of time and space, we had to cut a lot of things out of the print edition, but thankfully, because of the internet, we can put all that stuff, and it's available on LacroSseMagazine.com. Right now, a lot of stuff is already available, and by the time the issue is hitting homes, the last few teams will be getting previewed, so your top 5 teams will be kind of coming in late January, early February. But right now, available on LacroSseMagazine.com, we've got full previews on Division I teams starting at number 20 and going all the way through the top, as well as full previews coming from Division II and Division III on both the men's and women's side, coming kind of late January, early February. So really an in-depth look across the board at all 3 divisions of men's and women's lacrosse, and a lot of content that you won't find anywhere else, available on LacroSseMagazine.com, and also by looking at hashtag LMRanks on Twitter and other social media. So come check it out, let us know how we're doing, and find out a little bit about both your favorite teams and the teams they're going to be playing this year.
My little kangaroo. This is a present from my mom. It reminds me that home isn't too far away. So
as 12 and my feet is 6, I want to get my hands up when I'm shooting right-handed to 11. When I finish, I want to follow through down 5.